Hi, boys and girls. I'd like you to take a peek in your textbooks at page 12 and page 13, and it should read, how would you describe the Atlantic region? Look at that funny little piece of toast again, and here are the things that we want you to think about. What bodies of water are found in the Atlantic region? What landforms are found in the Atlantic region? What vegetation is found in the Atlantic region? And what is the climate of the Atlantic region? So today we're actually going to talk about the bodies of water and the different landforms. But before we get started, let's take a peek at what the intro to chapter 2 says. So, how would you describe the Atlantic region? A region is an area that has many features in common. The part of Canada shown in red on the map on page 13 is the Atlantic region. Okay, let's take a second here. Take a peek over here. So if you've been listening in class, you would remember the 4 provinces that make up the Atlantic region. See if you can remember them. It's made up of 4 provinces, your province and 3 others. Name the 4 provinces and the ocean in this part of Canada. The ocean touches the land along the coastline. Trace the coastline of all 4 provinces with your finger. Why do you think this part of Canada is called the Atlantic region? Look at the photos on pages 12 and 13 to find what else these provinces have in common. Okay, so let's take a minute now, and I'm going to get you to pause the video, and I want you to take a peek at these photos. There's 4 of them, and see what you notice that they all have in common. Okay, welcome back. Now I want you to turn the page. You should be on page 14 now. And at the very top, it says, what bodies of water are found in the Atlantic region? And in this funny little piece of toast, it says, did you know the St. John River is the 2nd longest river on the Atlantic coast between the Mississippi River and the St. Lawrence River? Toolkit. See that funny little wrench there? This toolkit says, words that give you information about a photograph are called captions. When you see a photograph, be sure to read the caption carefully. The map of Atlantic Canada on page 15 shows some of the bodies of water in our region. What bodies of water are near where you live? Look closely at the map. Which lake do you think is the largest? Which river do you think is the longest? So take a second and look over here at the map of the Atlantic region and see if you notice any bodies of water. Okay, you can pause it if you need to for a second. Okay, great, welcome back. Okay, let's look at this picture here. Picture number 1 back on page 14. This is called a bay. And a bay is a body of water that is partly surrounded by land, but has a wide opening to the ocean. Chaleur Bay is known as one of the most beautiful bays in the world. Its French name means Bay of Warmth. Okay, so that there is a bay. Remember that word. Okay, and if you follow that purple line all the way to the map, you can see right on the map what 2 provinces Chaleur Bay is between. Okay, let's go back to number 2 here. Let's look at that picture for a second. A river is a large stream of fresh water that flows into another body of water, such as a lake or ocean. The St. John River in New Brunswick is almost 700 kilometers long. Okay, and if we follow that purple line here, we can see the St. John River right there in New Brunswick. Ooh, this should look familiar to us. We've seen a picture of this in class. I wonder if you can remember where that is. The Bay of Fundy is between Nova Scotia and New Brunswick. It has the highest tides in the world. Hopewell Cape, New Brunswick is located on the Bay of Fundy. And some friends of ours went here on a raft, not on purpose. All right, let's follow that purple line. Oh, and look, there it is. The Bay of Fundy, right between New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. All right, let's look up here at number 4. A strait is a narrow body of water that joins two larger bodies of water. The Strait of Belle Isle joins the Atlantic Ocean and the Gulf of St. Lawrence. Follow that purple line. Right there, Strait of Belle Isle. And the 5th picture here is a lake. And a lake is a large body of water surrounded by land. Kejimkujik Lake is in Nova Scotia. Let's follow that purple arrow. Oh, there it is right there. Looks like a little speck or a little crumb sitting there on Nova Scotia. Okay, and last but not least, number 6, the Bras d'Or Lake is a system of large lakes in Cape Breton. These lakes open up to the Atlantic Ocean, and unlike most lakes, they're a mixture of salt and fresh water. We don't have to go very far to find that one, do we? Okay, good. Now I'm going to get you to turn the page when you're ready. If you want to pause and take a minute and look at those bodies of water again, you're more than welcome to. And now we're going to go on to the landforms that are found in the Atlantic region. So let's take a peek here at what this says. It says, My World. Choose one landform or body of water in New Brunswick that you think is special. Create a postcard that includes a picture and 3 facts about this feature. Be ready to discuss why you chose this feature. Ooh, start thinking of that. We're going to maybe do that a little bit later as a project. Landforms are features that make up the surface of Earth. Examples of landforms include islands, mountains, wetlands, shores, coastlines, fjords, and valleys. The photos on page 16 and 17 show some of the major landforms in the Atlantic region. Which types of landforms are in the areas where you live? Okay, and if you look at the first picture here, number 1, I'm sure you can tell what that is. You guessed it. It's an island. An island is a piece of land that's completely surrounded by water. Lennox Island, PEI, in Maplequeux Bay is home to the Lennox Island First Nation. And if we follow that arrow, there it is right there on Prince Edward Island. Okay, let's pop over to number 2 here. Let's take a peek. Oh, I bet you've already figured out what this landform is. A mountain is a high part of Earth's surface. It rises above the area around it. Mount Carleton is the highest mountain in New Brunswick. It's 817 meters high. Okay, let's follow that arrow. Right here in New Brunswick. I wonder if Mount Carleton is in northern New Brunswick, southern New Brunswick, eastern or western New Brunswick. Something to think about. All right, let's take a peek at number 3 over here. A wetland is a piece of land that is mostly covered with water. Marshes and bogs are examples of wetlands. Tantramar Marsh, between Nova Scotia and New Brunswick, is a saltwater tidal marsh. Okay, let's follow that arrow. And oh, it's right there where that purple line is, right between New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. Okay. Oh, looks like a lovely beach to visit. A shore is a strip of land next to a body of water. Some shores have beaches, such as the Fundy Trail shoreline. Oceans, lakes, and rivers all have shores. Let's follow this one. Oh, right here along the Bay of Fundy. Okay, let's take a peek at this one here. Ooh, looks like that might be an iceberg over there. Much of the coastline of Newfoundland and Labrador is rugged and rocky. rugged and rocky, like the coastline at Twillingate, shown in this photo. Okay, let's follow this over here. Newfoundland and Labrador, right up in there. Okay, number 6, let's move down here a little bit. A fjord is a long, narrow coastal inlet. It's carved from rock by the movement of ice. The Western Brook Pond Fjord is in Grossmoor National Park, right over here in Newfoundland. I'd love to visit that someday. Okay, and over here, number 7, a valley is a low strip of land between mountains or hills. This valley in Cape Breton Highlands National Park sits between North Mountain and Theodore Fricker Mountain. It's kind of a funny name. Right up here. Okay, so there. Now you've learned a little bit about bodies of water. And then we've also learned a little bit about different landforms in the Atlantic region. While you wait for the rest of your classmates to finish up, boys and girls, I want you to either read through this or take a peek at the pictures another time, study the maps, and then when I'm ready for you to come meet me in the den, then I'll call you all over.